Welcome to 1000 PS, welcome to beautiful Spain, and welcome to the absolute stunning new Triumph Speed Twin Standard and RS. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run you through what Triumph have done. Then I'm going to run you through the changes, and then I'm going to run you through what I think of both bikes. So let's start off with what Triumph have done. In terms of engine, it's the familiar platform, the parallel twin. It's got loads of torque, but they've added a little bit more power. They've just played with the fueling a bit and the cams a bit, and now we've got an extra 5 an extra 5 brake horsepower at the top end, but it's all at the top end. Near enough through the mid-range is as it was, lovely spread of torque. In terms of chassis, the frame stays the same, but we get 2 variants of chassis. So we get the standard model with Marzocchi forks, Marzocchi twin rear shocks. On the front, there's no adjustment. On the back, there's just preload. On the RS, we get fully adjustable Marzocchis, twin Öhlins at the back, both fully adjustable. The actual frame is near enough the same. Rake and trail and wheelbase is a fraction, a tiny little bit different between the two bikes, because the RS sits a little bit higher in dimensions. In terms of overall styling, both bikes get the same treatment. What Triumph have done is not move too far away from the original styling. They didn't need to, because it is such an iconic, beautifully styled bike. So we've got the new headlight, we've got the new single digital clocks that have got Bluetooth connectivity rather than the old twin clocks. We've got little sculptures in the tank. We've got little details on the side panels. We've got the brushed aluminium look. We've got this lovely swooping exhaust that looks really neat and tidy, which looks like an engineer's bloody nightmare, because to make that exhaust look like that is incredibly difficult, because underneath there is a catalytic converter and everything's hidden. It's same with the radiator, it's nicely hidden, there's no awful plumbing. It's same with the wiring, everything's been tucked away. And there's much more wiring on both models, because they both get cornering ABS and they both get cornering lean sensitive traction control. And again, to hide away all that wiring and hide away all that plumbing is incredibly difficult to make it look and feel like a retro bike, which it does. Triumph have really invested a lot of time in the styling with the air-cooled fins to make it look like an air-cooled bike, but it's water-cooled, to make it look like it's something from the 70s, but it's not, because it's modern. They've spent a lot of time on styling and designing. It really shows that level of finish is really premium and really high. So they've added traction control, they've added cornering ABS, they've added a little bit more power, they've added unique styling, and they've left the main chassis alone. And they've given us 2 variants for 2025. So you've got the standard and the RS, both same power, both same torque, both same gearbox, both same gear ratios and everything else. It's all about kind of like the running gear. So we've got Marzocchi front and back with just preload on the rear, Marzocchi Öhlins fully adjustable. We've got Brembo stylemas, we've got Triumph branded standard calipers. We've got an extra riding mode, which is called Sport on the RS. We've got, so in terms of tyres, we've got the Racetex on the RS, Sportex on the standard bike, which are both produced by Metzler. We get a quick shifter on the RS, which is not available on the standard, and we get a sportier riding position with the pegs slightly higher, further back, the bars slightly lower. Gives you a sportier stance than the standard bike. We started off on the standard bike, and I'm kind of pleased we did it that way around, because when you jump on the standard bike, it's pretty hard to find a fault with. I think what Triumph have done is made it comfier and a little plusher and softer than it was before. So the ride quality is really nice and really soft and very forgiving. The lever, the feel on the lever is quite soft as well and easy. The fueling is nice and fluid. You don't have to like go into the rider aids and play about with them, because it just does what it says on the tin. There is extra power at the top end, but you don't really get into that extra power because you ride the bike as it was designed, kind of low down between 3 and 4,000 RPM, using the torque, letting it roll into corners, and just using it as an everyday bike. Ground clearance is really, really strong. The power is really strong. It's really easy to ride. It's very comfortable. It's very forgiving. And you kind of get off the standard bike going, well, that's the bike for me. I don't need anything else. I don't need to upgrade. I don't need to spend that extra money. But then when you jump on the RS, you go, oh yeah, the brakes are actually quite a bit stronger. And the chassis is much firmer. It's much sportier. It turns a little bit faster. It's a little bit more accurate. The tyres give more grip. It gives more confidence. I can carry more corner speed. I've got an extra rider mode. The quick shifter comes into its own. And then you jump back on the standard bike and go, oh, I'm missing the quick shifter. The brakes don't feel as strong. It doesn't steer as nicely as the RS. It's kind of like, there was no problem with the standard bike when I just rode the standard bike, but there was after I rode the RS and I really wanted the RS. In the UK, the standard bike's going to come in at 12,495 and the RS is going to be 14,495. So you're going to have to pay an extra £2,000 for the fully adjustable Mazocchis, the fully adjustable twin shock, the extra rider mode, the quick shifter and the new stance and the grippier tyres. So it's going to be interesting to see where people's money goes. For me personally, I've really, really enjoyed the RS. I think it's really sporty. I think it looks absolutely great. It sounds great. It's got plenty of power. It's got plenty of torque. It's lots of fun. There's a few little niggles. For example, the traction control is either in one of the modes or it's off. You can't trim the traction control. So I can't turn it up or turn it down. The ABS is always on. I don't have the capability to turn the ABS off the rear. There's a few little things like that where I just wish I could just do a little bit more with the rider aids and tweak it. But I guess that 90% of owners are not wanting to do that. And on the standard bike, it's a real shame that you can't get the quick shifter on the standard bike because it works so well on the RS. So that's a little bit of a shame on the standard bike. But it'd be interesting to see where people's go. I think the majority of customers, if they ride the standard bike, are going to be perfectly happy. They're going to love the standard bike. It's really hard to fault. It's only when you ask that bike to do things that it was probably never designed to do, like brake really heavy and attack corners with lots of aggression, that's when you're going to find faults with that bike. And with this bike, again, it's hard to find faults once you start pushing the bike towards its limits because the ground clearance is good, the grip is good, the brakes are strong, the suspension is fully adjustable. You can do a lot more on this bike than it looks. It may look like something from the 70s, but it handles like something very modern. And again, you've got that cornering ABS and cornering traction control to keep you safe and to keep you on the black stuff. What's going to be interesting is when we put it against the competition, because generally when you ride 2025 bikes, you go, well, that's the obvious competition. But with this bike, I don't think the competition is that obvious. There is the BMW R12 9T, which is a retro naked bike around 100 horsepower. But I don't think anybody who's looking at a BMW is going to look at a Triumph. I think it's two different completely markets. I think somebody wants a Triumph because of their heritage and because of the looks and because of the way it is. And I think people who want a BM, it's the same way. And same with the Ducati Scrambler. And I think Kawasaki's retro bikes and the XSR from Yamaha are too sporty. They're kind of out of the window. So for me, I think they stand as individual bikes. I think the biggest problem people are going to have when it comes to buying is RS or standard. I think for 80 to 90% of people, the standard bike is perfectly fine. But if you do buy the standard bike, just don't buy the RS. Because if you have a test ride on the RS and then you ride that, you're going to be a little bit disappointed because you're going to miss the quick shift and the sporty suspension. But we hope you've enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. It has been a great test. It's been really enjoyable to ride these roads on both bikes. I want to have another go back in the UK. I want to have another go against the competition. It'd be really interesting to see what this bike is like if we put it on track, which it's more than capable of doing, and I think it will be fun. And I'm really intrigued to see what people are going to do with customization, because there is lots of customization on both bikes, and this could easily be turned into a really cool Cafe Racer Thruxton kind of. Now the Thruxton's dead, we can turn this into a kind of comfy Thruxton. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. If you've got any more technical questions, fire them below and I'll get back to you.